guys, me again. This is my review for Monday Night Raw's Super Show for the 16th, I think, of January 2012. It was, of course, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which I thought I'd throw that in there. Mick Foley actually starts off the show, which I definitely wasn't expecting. Says he wants to be in the Royal Rumble so that his kids can watch him wrestle one last time, which does make sense. Dolph Ziggler and Vicky Guerrero come out saying, well, why should you get to be in it? You'll just be taking a spot from someone who's actually spent this year working to get there, which I agree with. They're bringing back all the legends. Like, they brought The Rock back, they brought Booker T back into wrestling, they done it with King Lawler a couple months ago, it might have been last year actually. And bringing all these old guys back while we're trying to bring up the rookies, you can't really do both at the same time, in my opinion. It just gets too busy. Yeah, Mick says, well, what if I win? You know, if I win it, I won't be stealing the spot because I'd prove that I deserve to be there. And Dolph says it doesn't matter if he wins, because at Royal Rumble, when Dolph wins his match against Punk and becomes the WWE champion, Mick Foley will just lose to him at WrestleMania, which in all honesty I think he would. I don't think his body would be able to handle a proper wrestling match anymore. Punk then comes out, says he'll still be champion at the end of Royal Rumble because he's the best in the world, and that he thinks it would be pretty cool to face Mick Foley at WrestleMania, which of course it would be. That would be a good match. I still don't think he could handle it though. John Laurinaitis comes out, says he'll be an unbiased referee in the WWE title match at Royal Rumble between Punk and Ziggler. He says he won't let Mick Foley be in the Royal Rumble though, which, damn it, they brought so many old guys back last year. They had Booker T came back then. Afterwards he just went on commentary. He came back then. We had Diesel, Big Daddy Cool, and someone else, but I can't remember who. It will come to me later, I'm sure. Yeah, so he's not allowed in it. It's then like air boom backstage kind of thing. They're just walking towards the camera, and someone on commentary tells us that they actually lost their titles in a house show somewhere, I'm not sure where, to Epico and Primo, which we all know is going to happen. Epico and Primo haven't beat Air Boom yet, but my sources tell me that Evan Bourne has been suspended because of a drug use. Now this is the second time, so he got suspended for 60 days. Last time he was suspended, he was still one half of the champions, and that kind of, it put Kofi out of action. He wasn't out of action, but he could have been in the spotlight more with Evan, and he did screw Kofi out of that a little bit. So now that he's lost the title, and spontaneously the day after Raw, he's been suspended. So I think there might have been a inside scoop in that one. It is then Airboom versus Epico and Primo for the tag team belts. Epico and Primo lost by a distraction from Rosa Mendez, and it got really confusing to the point where I couldn't really tell who was who, because Epico and Primo look way too alike. It shouldn't be allowed. It annoys me. So yeah, they are still the champions, which, you know, they're pretty good, but they need to at least win one match. Every Dirty player has won at least one match, honestly, you know. But that's just my opinion. It's then a John Laurinaitis and David Otunga promo, with Chris Jericho coming in halfway through. John Laurinaitis is in a lot tonight. He's really training up his mic skills and stuff. Good luck. John makes a 6-man tag team match with CM Punk, Daniel Bryan and Chris Jericho, Dolph Ziggler, Mark Henry and David Otunga, which proves that Jericho is going to be a face because he's on the good guy team. So I don't know, he's been acting a lot like a heel lately, so that confused me a little bit as well. It's then a Zack Ryder interview with Josh Matthews, I think. He says that he's not actually medically cleared after his attack by a cane last week, so he's got bandages all around his ribs and back and stuff. But he won't forfeit his title against his match tonight, which is right after that. It's Zack Ryder versus Jack Swagger for the United States Championship. Jack obviously has Vicky outside. Zack comes out with Eve Torres, bless him, I love that couple. I don't think Eve is good. Oh, she is good at it. I just think she deserves more to be than just a valet for someone that accompanies someone to the ring, does interviews with them. She could be an actual wrestler. You know, I think it suits Rosa just fine because she's still building up her character profile. But I think Eve's already there. But I guess they know what they're doing. Jack Swagger actually wins this match via a gut-wrench powerbomb. So he is, of course, the new United States champion. What the hell? You know? How long did they spend bigging Ryder up to win this title? On Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook, on everything. They bigged him up so much. And they just got rid of it like that. Not even in a pay-per-view, not even in a main event, just a normal match. They've been doing that so much. Daniel Bryan on SmackDown, he's been having championship match after championship match. No main event, well it probably was a main event, but no pay-per-view. What are they doing? They're wasting all these huge opportunities on like just everyday shows, and I just don't see the point in it. So yeah, he is new champ, but as I say, it could have been a main event pay-per-view match. Anyway, John Laurinaitis evens Zack while Zack is getting checked out after the match. John apologises to Zack, saying, you know, I didn't read the letter saying that you weren't cleared until after the bell had rung, so we couldn't do anything about it. Oh, very coincidental if you ask me. He basically gets in the face, well, look, he's your client, you know, you're meant to look after him, he works for you, look after your, like, employees. And he just goes, Eve, just treat me with some respect, and then swaggers off, and I hate him. Then someone called Perez Hilton, Perez Hilton, not Paris, Perez. Apparently he's some kind of internet blogger, celebrity type thing, but I've never heard of him. He looks really nerdy. He comes out to ring announce Kelly and Alicia Fox's tag team match against the Bella Twins. Perez stops Twin Magic, you know, where Nikki and Bree switch, and K2 gets a roll up. Kelly gets a roll up over one of them. Don't ask me which. Then they go off celebrating, and it's really, he looks proper pervy in that scene. Like, I wouldn't want to be alone in the ring with him, but still. R-Truth then comes out, and he goes to speak, and Wade Barrett interrupts him before he gets a word out. He says he'll win the Royal Rumble even if R-Truth is in it. Miz then comes up and attacks him from behind after R-Truth saying, nah mate, I'm gonna win. Miz attacks him from behind, Sheamus saves him, Teddy Long comes out and makes an over-the-top rope challenge with R-Truth, Sheamus, Miz and Wade Barrett. All three of them eliminate Wade Barrett, which I thought was quite funny because he's been the one that's coming out every single week saying I'm gonna win, and he was the best again. Irony. R-Truth eliminates Sheamus while he is in the process of eliminating Miz, so R-Truth basically eliminates both of them at the same time. So R-Truth wins, so go Truth. John Laurinaitis and John Cena then have a scene backstage. Cena basically has a go at him for like letting Zack lose the title. John Laurinaitis says that he made a mistake, you know, it wasn't his fault, everyone makes mistakes, and he makes John Cena versus Jack Swagger for that night, and John Cena versus Kane for Royal Rumble. So he's busy then. And it's then John Cena versus Jack Swagger immediately after that. They really run around that arena too fast. God, never know how they do it. John he just attacks Jack Swagger so much before the bell has even rung. I don't think the bell ever rung. He's like to the point where Jack's like knocked out. He has no idea where he is. John Cena then takes like the steel steps apart so they're in two, puts Jack's head on it, and like picks up the other one to like squish him. He's like just like that about to drop it, and Kane's music hits. Cena gets in the ring, you know, ready to fight as you do, and Kane comes up on the Titantron saying, you know, well done Cena, you finally embraced the hate. By the time we're at Royal Rumble, you'll be a hater like me, and yeah, all very pretty much a repeat of what we had last time. Then the Funkasaurus Brodus Clay, which I'm in love with that gimmick right now. Now because whenever Brodus Clay comes out, he does his whole like 10-minute entrance, and then it just zooms in on his opponent like sat in the corner looking a bit scared. And he zooms in on JTG, who stood by the announce table. Now if you look in the background, you guys probably won't know who these people are. You can see Mr. to the P and Mr. Belding from Saved by the Bell just sat behind the commentary table. Now, Mr. to the P is a radio host for AfterBuzz for WWE's Monday Night Raw. It's basically a radio show or a podcast. Him, Maria Kanellis, someone whose name I can't remember, who does Vocari fashion, who's actually married to Lillian Garcia on SmackDown, and they normally have Jensen Hart. He's like the funniest guy that I've heard of right now. They just basically have a recap of what happened, and because like Jensen used to be a writer, obviously the Vocari guy is married to Lillian, and Maria used to be a wrestler. They have it's funny. You should definitely watch it. So yeah, they're in the audience. And Mr. Belding, he's currently got a petition on Twitter to become the new Raw general manager, and that would just be amazing. For those of you who don't know, he is the principal for Saved by the Bell, that used to be a kids show. You should definitely look that one up. But yeah, of course, Brittis Clay wins via some kind of side slam. It's then an update on AJ's injury after she got like ran over by Big Show the other week. Daniel Bryan comes out, says she's okay, she's just traumatised, she'll never be the same again. Says that Big Show shouldn't show his face on SmackDown anymore, and if he does, Daniel Bryan will make him pay. He says that he'll dedicate his match against Mark Henry next week on SmackDown to AJ to prove how much he appreciates the fact that she loves him. He never actually says he loves her back, which that pissed me off. It is then the 6-man tag team match: Daniel Bryan and Punk and Jericho versus Henry, David Otunga, and Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler has new trunks, they're like zebra print. I quite like that. 10 minutes into the match, Chris is like egging Punk to tag him in. He gets the tag by Punk. David Otunga, who he's against, is kind of like out on the floor. He's out of it. He just had the elbow drop. He's going to be out for a while. Jericho just goes, he woos the crowd, gets everyone going when they're not really that interested. And then goes to his corner, tags in Daniel Bryan, and just walks out. He walks backstage, and that's like the last you'll ever see of him. Mark and Daniel Bryan are going at it. They fight all the way out of the ring, backstage. So it's now Punk versus Dolph Ziggler, I think. Mick Foley comes out the minute Daniel Bryan and Mark Henry get out of sight. And he says to the ref, look, John sent me out here, I'm like his replacement, so that, you know, Punk's not out here on his own. And the ref says, alright, that's fine. It's then Mick Foley versus David Otunga, that's the match everyone wants to see. Mick Foley wins via submission with the Manimal Claw, which I'm glad I've never ever had to experience that. John Laurinaitis comes out and says he never told Nick to be in the match, and reverses the decision so David, Mark and Ziggler win. In my opinion, he should have just continued the match, but fair enough, he's just lazy. Punk says he's basically jealous of the fact that John didn't make it big time when he used to wrestle. You know, his brother was, for those of you who don't know, his brother was one half of the Road Dogs, I think, and he's just nothing. No one remembers him as a wrestler. And the fact that he's jealous because Punk is everything that he wanted to be. He's the champion, he's the one every person loves, etc, etc. And he says that if he screws Punk out of the title, he'll basically just get his ass whooped, which he will. He says John's pathetic, then like storms off. John then says he's soon to be official general manager, not temporary, official, permanent general manager, and he won't screw Punk out of the title at Royal Rumble. Mick Foley says he will. John Laurinaitis and kind of like, you see fire coming from his like eyes and steam coming from his ears. He says he will screw Punk out of the title on WrestleMania. He says that he will. You're not meant to say that. You're not meant to be biased. God. He basically snaps. He's like, I do this, I do that, I put on the best show on TV, etc, etc. I get no credit for it. I get the piss taken out of me. And then he goes to leave, and then he punches Mick Foley. You don't punch Mick Foley. Who punches Mick Foley? No one. And that was exactly my reaction to it. If you're going to bring legends back, treat them like legends. Like Lita on the Slammies, she was on for 30 seconds. Everyone in the crowd loved her, but everyone, like the person she was announcing with, basically just ignored her. If you're bringing golden people back, legendary people back, treat them like legends. That's like the biggest pet peeve of mine with WWE right now. But anyway, I've recently been, I don't really know the word, posted around YouTube, I guess, by a couple other YouTubers, and they've recently made my channel a lot more views. So I'm going to try and put their name down here, or I'll just put it in the description box or something like that. But thank you for advertising me, I suppose. I will try and get you as many views as I possibly can, but I don't really know how, so I'll just do what I can. So thank you, and I will see you later in the week for SmackDown, I guess.